Hello and welcome to Catholic Current, where we give you an update on events affecting the Church in the United States. I'm here on day one of the public session of the Bishops' Plenary Assembly in Orlando, Florida. The full body of bishops gathered this week for fraternal dialogue and listening. The bishops voted to advance on the local level the cause of beatification and canonization of the Shreveport Martyrs.
Shreveport's yellow fever epidemic in 1873, 150 years ago, this fall, is the historical context for the cause of beatification and canonization of 5 Shreveport diocesan priests, all martyrs to their charity, who displayed exemplary heroic virtue during the third worst recorded epidemic of its type in the United States history. With 1/4 of the city's population lost in just 12 weeks, the care of the dying fell to but a few courageous volunteers, including these 5 priests.
Archbishop Pierre, Apostolic Nuncio to the United States, spoke with Catholic Current about his personal connection to the cause of the Shreveport Martyrs.
And these 5 priests and others, because these are the 5 who died and others, gave their life, and they left their country. They went to a foreign countries, at that time, the Louisiana was far away, it was not just, the country of the dream of the people, And they were very courageous. They left their country just to announce the good news of the gospel. So this is a beautiful one.
With us is Bishop Malone of Shreveport.
When I think of the 5 Shreveport martyrs, I think of these 5 men who came into the world to die. They were willing to sacrifice their lives. They knew what they were going to be facing. They heard already of the mass pandemic or epidemic and the death of 25% of the population, and they knew they were going in there, and they knew both from what they had heard and from what people had warned them about that they only had a short time and they themselves would succumb to the yellow fever epidemic 150 years ago. And so they stand out to us as a model for what it means to be a true disciple, someone who says, I'm willing to sacrifice my life. I'm willing to give my life to the church and in a special way in the service of people, an act of charity, even if it costs my life.
Bishops today also presented on the Synod on Synodality and the National Eucharistic Revival. Archbishop Broglio, president of the USCCB, talked about how these 2 important events in the Church are connected.
The Synod is an opportunity for the whole Church to listen to one another. And the Eucharistic Revival has as its purpose first reaffirming our faith in the real presence of Christ, but then it doesn't all end in this 3-year process. The whole notion is to continue and to go out on mission. And the Synod also wants to hear from the peripheries, and I think we also want to bring the force and the presence of Christ to the peripheries. Really, each Catholic who receives Holy Communion then becomes, in a very real way, a tabernacle, a carrier of Christ. And so we want to obviously bring that to those who perhaps have not yet experienced the beauty of Christ and the beauty of the Eucharist. And so I think the 2 are very much related.
If it has felt at times that we were creating a pathway as we walked it, it's because we were. And this is largely due to the fact that some things you just have to start doing in order to learn how it can be done and how it can be done better.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of Catholic Current. You can find out more about any of this week's topics by visiting us online at usccb.org. From Orlando, Florida, I'm Maura Moser. See you tomorrow.